Nothing makes me more upset than when you have main media and even those who claim to be the voice of social reason not admitting their mistakes in covering a story. Nothing makes me more angrier than when a group of people or the so-called responsible errors of information, which is the media, who goes and rushes into judgment, demonize a person, lambasted a person, blacklist a person, calls out all sorts of things to ruin a person's reputation and even career. Yet when it turns out to be the polar opposite of what we actually have heard, all of a sudden we don't know. We can't jump to conclusions. We don't know what goes on behind closed doors. We don't have enough factual information. Even though when they reported the story originally, they didn't have much factual information either. Prime example is the Kobe Bryant situation. Prime example, right now as I'm speaking, is the Johnny Depp situation. In case you guys have not heard of or have not been following the news in the world of entertainment, there have been some audio leaked. I'm describing Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Now these two have been married for a little over a year. Their divorce was well known and it was ugly. There was a lot of claims that Johnny Depp had been a domestic abuser, which resulted into a lot of people trying to get him canceled over projects. One of them was the Fantastic Beasts sequel, which I've seen. And he has been recently dropped from any future Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Personally, I think that was a big mistake for Disney because you cannot replace Johnny Depp's character. It is a unique character only to him. However, rumors already came out saying they're actually doing a prequel, so there you go. Whether that works or not, we'll see. But the bottom line is this divorce proceedings have really hurt Johnny Depp's career tremendously. And it has gotten to the point where he has finally decided to fight back. He has actually filed a defamation suit, which is still going right now. And then there was back and forth photos, which led to an audio. And I have heard the audio. It has been confirmed by lawyers that it is the real thing. And when you hear it, it's not looking good for the one who claims that she was physically abused by Johnny Depp. Amber Heard, lawyers did respond. It is a weak response, and I'll tell you why. But nevertheless, it doesn't look good, and for a lot of reasons. For one, ever since the divorce, she has spoken out against abuse and everything else. She have donated a lot of money. The $7 million settlement that she have gotten from the divorce, she have donated the money. But it was also, she became one of the faces of domestic violence. To the point where people really did rally behind her. Now, again, I did not know what was going on behind the scenes. I always hold judgment back until we actually get something that is more concrete. There was photos, but at the same time we got to understand that in this day and age with technology, you can't really always go by what you see on a image. Photos can be doctored, photos can be photoshopped, people can manipulate it to appear that they are something that they're not, and you got to be very, very careful. But the story here with Johnny Depp and his ex-wife has always been a major topic, have always been a major pushing point for a lot of people. And with the Me Too movement and Believe Women movement and every other stupid movement that I've seen that popped up in a few years, movements that resulted in pretty much a witch hunt and pretty much blacklists in their own right, to the point where it's just gotten really out of control. It doesn't surprise me to see how the media reacts when it realizes that, hey, maybe it's not what it all seems. The audio that has been has been in question here really doesn't paint Amber Heard in a good light. Let's keep it real. All right? And you can see the manipulative nature of how she was voicing it. I don't know who actually recorded this, but it seemed like it was more on her side than it was on Johnny Depp's side. But nevertheless, it does she pretty much admitted of hitting him. Now, the audio also said that he should be that kind of, you should be a man, you should take it. My hits don't mean nothing. But the fact of the matter is, it shouldn't matter. She physically hit the man. She admitted it hitting the man, whether it was a slap or a punch or whatever. She physically attacked the man, and that alone pretty much discredit anything she has said, in my opinion, because one, she never mentioned about this, and number two, it was no self-defense argument here. You can hear Johnny Depp. You can actually even hear him saying he doesn't want to get physical, but if it has to get physical, and if this is going to be the result of this, and she's saying she can't guarantee it's going to happen again, then she wants a divorce. Even though he specifically said in this audio he don't want to leave her, he loves her, but he wanted peace. Now, let me be very clear on one thing. What happens in a marriage or life is their business. I don't know what led to this type of dispute. I don't know if they had any problem before marriage. Personally, I feel that if this happened when they got married, it was not a good fit to begin with. I felt that they married each other for the wrong reasons. But only they can determine what happened, what went astray. There are many reasons why couples, whether celebrities or not, get divorced. It is not a black and white area. It is not as simple as many people have like to believe. Many people stay with each other despite their relationship for one reason. Many people leave for one reason. There is no clear answer to any of this. With that being said, when celebrities breaks up, for whatever reason, we always seem to grow attached to that. And we like to hear the stuff that led to their divorce. Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt was probably the biggest one. And now you have Johnny Depp and company on this. And the thing that bothers me about this is not only that I hear the tape and it's very disturbing, it's very sad, but it also shows something that we didn't really expect it. Now, there, of course, is another hashtag with Johnny Depp situation, and I wasn't surprised considering that how much he'd been getting so much heat in the last few years with this whole situation, to the point where now he has to do a defamation lawsuit because he believes that Amber had basically ruined his career. Now, I'm not going to go as far as saying that. Personally, if you want my honest opinion, there's a mixture of everything that goes on. The pressure from a lot of these so-called righteous people who wanted to basically ruin Johnny Depp because of these allegations that no one really had a concrete proof over. To the point where, I gotta be honest, from a reviewer's perspective, he hasn't been much of a draw. He hasn't really drawn the big bucks over the years. The only film that, in my opinion, that he has drawn big was the Pirates films. The Pirates film was his bread and butter. And I feel that we probably wouldn't see a defamation lawsuit have Disney not drop him. He's not getting too many roles. And that's the thing I want to be very clear. He's not. And that's been, in my opinion, more, pretty much more of that tipping point than just this marriage. Now, is Disney had a happy trigger finger? I'm pretty sure they did. I'm not going to sit here and dispute that. I pretty much feel they did. And they're going to have to live with the consequences of that trigger finger if that is the case, if Pirates don't do well. That's just how it is. Because I honestly don't see how it can work without Johnny. I really don't. But besides, the fact is that a lot of people, including the media, was so quick, just like a lot of stories that I've covered, to actually blacklist somebody, bash somebody, throw somebody under the bus, ruin their careers without any other evidence whatsoever to prove any of this. They want to play the righteous card so much. And I always say to these people who always do this, I want you to look yourself in the mirror. Are you as perfect as you guys want all these other people to be? Because if the answer is no, who the hell give you the right to try and lambiscuit these people? You don't know these people. You don't know what was going on behind the cameras. You don't know what's going on in their personal life. It's not my business to know what's going on in their personal life. The only reason why we know is because, number one, of their celebrity status. We have this idea that they don't deserve, they don't allow to have a private life. But here we are. We're hearing so much of this stuff. And Amber, what pissed me off about the Amber Heard as a person is that she tried to make herself something that she's not. That audio showed a whole different picture. And I don't care what her lawyer said. I don't care what anybody here wants to defend herself says. The fact of the matter is that she is just as physical doesn't make it right. She is just as wrong for putting his hands on Johnny and anybody else. And we need to stop. And I wish people would stop doing this. Stop acting like, oh, he's a man, he can take it. Assault is assault no matter who is handling it. Period. Just like a man is not allowed to hit a woman, woman should not be justified to be hitting a man. As simple as that. But what also ticks me off is how all of a sudden now I'm starting to see it, and I did see it, and I know I was recommended by this by a friend of mine, thank you very much, old pal, to see E.T. Canada. It's on YouTube, and first thing I looked at, I wanted to see the comment sections, and then I also wanted to see the thumbs up, thumbs down ratio, and believe me, they deserve every last thumbs down ever. But they're not the only one. They're not the only one. All of a sudden, that audio comes out. All of a sudden, just like everybody else who wants to accuse everyone of something they have no idea about the facts of. All of a sudden now, when we hear the story of what probably went down, what probably transpired, we don't know what's going on. We got to keep judgment. We don't know what happened behind closed doors. Really? Did you and your other media friends said that when revealed that Johnny Depp and Amber Heard was getting divorced? Did your media mogul said that? When talks of possible domestic violence happened, but we didn't have any proof of? If the answer is no, why do it now? At least here we have a documented, admitted proof from audio. All of a sudden that's not just the conclusions? Really? Let me explain the game about this. Let me explain it very clear when the media does this. The media does this. The media says this when they realize they were in the wrong and don't want to admit they were wrong. When they are sure 100% right, they'll run with it. They make all kinds of claims to it. They put big headlines out on so everybody to see, to get you wound up. But when they're wrong, is we don't know. Let's not jump to conclusions, even though the evidence is staring them in the face. You know what? Media did that before. I'll put them on the bus because I think they were wrong as well, and they never covered it ever again. The Young Turks. Respect the hell out of them, but when they're wrong, they were wrong. And that was a Jesse Smollett situation. They were covering it like they were like there was no tomorrow. When that whole incident, when he allegedly claimed he got beat up in the middle of the night by 2 Trump supporters because he was black and gay, they were covering all over it. You would think that there were actually a movement going on with the way the Young Turks did. And then it was revealed that he may have lied. Did they actually call him out for that? No. You know what they did? We don't know the truth. We don't know. We can't say. We don't have all the facts together. Or, instead of actually covering the story properly, they went after other people who was doing their job and had their time wasted because of what this man did, and try to put them under the bus. Well, I can't tell you how bad their thumbs up, thumbs down ratio was. It was ridiculous, and deservedly so. To the point where Hugh Gerkel came on the air tried to justify the most pathetic display of news coverage I have seen from the Young Turks in recent memory. Now, let me get this one thing clear here. What happened between Johnny Depp and Amber Heard should never have exploded the way it did. I don't know what happened in between the situation. No one does. What I can say is, and what I will say is, that it was not a healthy marriage from the start. And we're now seeing it. This marriage, keep in mind, they finalized their divorce more than a year ago, and we're still hearing about this. Why? Because Johnny Depp pretty much see his career being destroyed by this divorce. And there are pictures being shown that Johnny Depp had bruises. We've seen pictures of part of hair being, displayed by Amber Heard. And all I can say is I can't say anything about it because, again, pictures can be, manipulated. In this day and age, with digital, yeah, they can be manipulated. But what I can say is it wasn't healthy. And I think Amber Heard is just as responsible for that toxic relationship as well as Johnny Depp. I'm keeping it real. And anybody want to sit here and defend Amber Heard for putting his hands on Johnny Depp is a fool. Domestic violence goes both ways. Period. The lawyers can paint it any picture they want. Domestic violence goes both ways. And the fact that Amber is coming around like she was just this perfect angel really ticks me off. But what really ticks me off is that now a lot of people have since we heard the audio, and it is a very damning audio, especially for Amber Heard's concern. Now we're seeing the whole role reverse. Now we're seeing people saying cancel Amber Heard because she lied and everything else. And look, I'm going to say it right up. I don't know if she 100% lied. I know she wasn't 100% truthful. Let's be realistic. She wasn't 100% truthful. Whether or not she was doing this to boost her career, I can't say. I'm not going to go that far. But I can say she was not 100% truthful. That audio is very damning. Now, do I want her canceled and all this other nonsense that everybody wants to do? No. I don't. Like I said, what happened between those two should have been stayed with them, those two, and it should have been worked out between those two without the public eye watching over. But it happened, and it happened ugly. And Johnny Depp took the brunt of that. He took the brunt of that. And it wasn't really fair for him. But we have this, we have to be perfect in every way, political correctness, social movement that act like they're doing everybody a favor when they actually are not. And there's a guy who is dead set on equal rights for everybody. Equal pay for everybody. I do want diversity in Hollywood. I do want diversity, period. But I don't want it forced upon people. I don't want an agenda being hidden behind it, that's what this is a lot these days. And then being labeled as something that I'm not, because I don't agree with your view of what America, or what the country should be, or what the world should be. These people who have kept constantly want to play this cancel culture crap. These people who think they're so perfect in life. Went after Johnny Depp and a lot of other stars, basically trying to cancel them because they didn't agree with what their view of life is. Or because they feel that this guy did it and we have to believe Amber Heard because he's a man, he did it. Well, guess what? Amber is not that innocent either. Yet I don't see nobody really saying, "Oh, we're sorry, Johnny. We didn't mean to. We didn't mean it." Because number one, they're not. They're cowards. Just like some of these media outlets are. They're cowards. They'll cause a ruckus, but when they realize that ruckus was unjustified, they will hide by saying, "Well, we don't know." Just like A.T. Canada is. It made me sick. We don't know. Did you thought about that when you heard allegations of Johnny Depp? No, you took it as gospel. I don't know how much further it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be over by a long shot. I think this is only going to stir the pot between the two. This is going to be getting really nasty very quick. And I think this is going to be one of many things going to surface in the next 6 months to a year. Don't expect this to end anytime soon. Don't expect this to have a conclusion anytime soon. And with that, welcome to Entertainment Roundup. I'm J77. I wanted to start this off real quick because, again, when I heard about this audio, when I heard about it, it just, I just wanted to hear it. Someone tells me I'm gonna get ticked off, and it's gonna be ticked off more on the fact is that there's gonna be something that we did not knew about a few years ago that now we know, and I kind of wish this could have came out early. It would have basically squashed every assumption of what Johnny Depp really is. We don't know what Johnny Depp is. Let's be realistic here, but it would at least squash some assumptions. And now I'm seeing the press trying to cover up their stupidity again. And you want to know why I believe in fake news? Because of this. Because really, they're not trying to go on news. They're going on trends and feelings and what is the hot topic and how we can actually boost this to gain ratings. We don't care about the personal lives we may have been ruining. We just care about trying to boost our own, rating, our own portfolio, our own ego. Now that's what happened here. When I saw the news report come in, and I'm saying to myself, okay, this is damaging. And I'm seeing the response from both sides. I didn't really care about both sides' response. I was more care about, let's see how the media is going to play it out. And they try to be righteous. We don't know. We got to wait. We got to see what it is. No, I'm not going for that. I'm not going to play. That's an excuse. That's a cowardly excuse to hide upon your mistakes. I've seen it way too many times. And I'm getting sick and tired of it. Have you done your news right? Have you covered it the way it was supposed to be? You wouldn't have to say, oh, let's just wait. You should have said that when the whole allegation came here. But you didn't. You went with the trend. I'm getting tired of it. I'm getting tired of these outlets not doing their proper job. And they're not doing their proper job, and they're not doing their companies that they work for any services. Look what's going on. What happened to Washington Post with that reporter who thought it was a good idea to try and post about Kobe Bryant's alleged sexual assault case. How that worked out for her. She almost lost her job over that nonsense. Because it wasn't about the allegation. It was 20 years ago. It was about, let me stick it to these people who like this man. And let me also boost my career up. Notice since that incident happened between that and the two other movie stars who thought it was a good idea to try to throw the jabs at the man who was dead and can't defend himself. Notice you haven't heard nothing else about the case. Because they are not stupid enough to go through it. Now, it's going to come up. They ain't going to come up right now where it's fresh when we're still mourning the life of Kobe Bryant and as well as everybody else who died on that plane. No, we're not going to hear that. We're going to wait a while. It may be a year, maybe 2 years before that finally surfaces up. But then you got this here. And I'm going to tell you right now, I guarantee those who actually talked about it and those who actually promoted blacklisting Johnny Depp, they're going to go quiet. Or they're going to try and say, oh, well, we don't know what happened. We don't know what went down. We got to wait. Let's wait. Instead of actually calling out the person who actually made those allegations and ask her, wait, you admitted hitting Johnny Depp. How come you didn't bring this up? How come you didn't talk? How come you didn't bring this up at the last assault? Because you know why? There's two sides of the story. That wouldn't make her look good if they found out that she herself was engaging in domestic abuse as well. And again, I'm going to say this, spare me the nonsense about, well, he's a man, he should take it. No. Abuse is abuse. It doesn't matter who is engaging in it. This is a shocker in many ways because I expect to hear this audio the way it is. But what angers me more is the fact is that now you're seeing media outlets who basically use that as basically bash on Johnny Depp. Now trying to backtrack and say we don't know. Say that before the stuff started surfing, not after. It's too late. You thought you knew, and you didn't. You didn't have any information about it. That's why, as I'm speaking right now, ET Canada. I'm pointing ET Canada first. They're not the only ones. Trust me. But they just happen to be on my radar today. ET Canada, as I'm speaking to you right now, 729 ups, 2.8K down. 2,800 votes down. And all because of what they said. And I've seen the comment sections. I don't normally read comment sections on YouTube, but I'm going to show you the comment section what they said because I got to agree. I can't argue it. I don't think it's right. This is from one of the comments. This came out 20 hours ago. Basically, from when I'm recording it. There's 1,700 comments. This is pretty much, I believe, include the replies. It says here, I don't think it's right to just sweep this under the rug and say, oh, well, they're not together anymore, and let all move on with this man's career on. This man's career was destroyed. People for the last 3 to 4 years have called him a wife beater, and we can't just let her off the hook. After admitting to her own role on domestic violence, women are capable of being abusers too, and it's time for all of us to treat them with just as much disdain. This person is absolutely 100% right. You can't sweep this under the rug, and I don't want to sweep on the rug. She has to answer to that. That's why when that lawyer made that BS statement, it's inexcusable. You can't justify what she had her role in this. You can't. Especially when she's coming out, being this spokesperson for domestic violence. You can't. This has, by the way, 33 replies and 2.2K thumbs up. Another one, I think, oh boy, I actually recognized this YouTuber. We don't know, yet all of Johnny's ex-wife said he was not an abuser and a soft man, same as his daughter, stating that he is the kindest man she'd known and never violent. It's about time we get the real story, but of course people will still believe otherwise. This one, by the way, had 27 replies, 1.7K. Loretta Church, all this from the almost same power. It's as if they disbelieve. It's as if they're in disbelief. Now that there's proof who is the real abuser, it suddenly is, we don't know because Johnny Depp is a man. This is why most men who are abused by the spouse are silent. This is true. Way to keep the status up because Amber Heard is a pretty woman and she's nothing but a wolf in sheep's clothing. By the way, that one had 1.2K, 19 replies. Another YouTuber whose name is so long I'm not going to try it. It says Sweet Buckling Revenge. That's why it says Arrow Flynn Sweet Buckling Revenge. That's what it says here. Oh, I said it right, my friend. It says here, and I quote, take it out of context. She was trying to drug him with a psychotic substance throughout the recording. Why would she do that if, according to her, drugs made him turn into a monster? The entire recording absolutely exposed her as a complete fraud. 678 thumbs up, 14 replies on that one. And there's a lot of replies on these ones. I'm not going to go read the whole entire thing. It's 1,000 plus. Let's go on the blues. Can't throw the blame on her. Like what everyone did with Johnny Depp is unbelievable. 192 ups, only 3 replies there. Miss Dark Fianta. And by the way, a lot of these comments are coming from women. I think there's only like 2 men that actually respond, but most of them are coming from women. Miss Dark Fianza, oh no, we're not going to allow you to sweep this under the rug. You don't know what went on behind the closed doors. Yeah, but we had the idea that Amber is a mental and physical abuser. Another one, Dash Boot says, so when it turns out to be the man who is a victim of abuse, the world just says, let's just leave it. She admitted to physically attacking him aggressively, needless belittling him when he confronts her about hitting him. Blames him for her hitting him using the classic, you know what makes me hit you. Abusers' reconciliation and victimizing paint him as a wife beater, and to the public gets him fired from a beloved job as Jack Sparrow, and goes and continues to this day, dragging him. This is actually more. He actually did the role, dragging him through the mud. Can men not be victims of abuse? Yes, they can. 14 replies. This one came from another YouTuber. I can't pronounce. I think it's Lord Daz. E.T. Canada. When the allegations arise, Johnny Depp is a terrible person, and we shouldn't question the woman allegations against him. And that's exactly what they are doing. They don't want to question the woman. They have no problem, basically dragging Johnny Depp down in the mud. And this is why Canada is getting E.T. Canada. I don't know E.T. Entertainment Tonight is the same one as the one at Entertainment Canada. I don't know. So I'm going to be let me make that disclaimer right now. They could be 2 separate entities. I know Canada has their own thing in terms of entertainment and studios. They even have their own Hollywood. They have their own TV shows that have not been seen in the United States unless you have, unless you're really, really close to the Canadian border. For instance, if you live somewhere in Buffalo or, near the area like Franklin or Altona, you can actually pick up some Canadian shows and even Canadian radio stations from that distance. But like I said before, I don't know if the ET Canada and ET USA are the same branch. They may be running on a different branch. So to be fair, let me be very clear. I can't say they're running on the same thing. I never recognized. I didn't see these people. And then to be fair, this may be just they're taking from their perspective in Canada. It may not be the same in the U.S. But either way, there are other outlets who's been doing this. So it's not so. Trust me when I say it. It ain't just them that's doing it. It's a lot of the media outlets, and to me, it makes me sick. But I do have to point out that this is ET Canada, not ET US. I just want to make that very clear. All right, Chris says, then all of a sudden you can't throw the blame on her. Yeah, but the media all around the world had no problem with throwing all the blame on him without evidence besides her side of the story. This is just so wrong, it's sickening. 275 up, 3 replies. I'm reading the replies because I want people to hear these comments. Like I said, I don't normally put comments on like this, but it has to be said because they're not wrong. Every last comment I said hits a valid point. Every last one of them. Let's go on and continue. The female presenter is so quick to say, we don't know. I guarantee you if the role of the audio was referred, she wouldn't say or wouldn't be saying, I don't know. They would be saying anything interesting. They wouldn't be anything interesting that Johnny Depp must be the victim. 2. The fact is that Johnny Depp has proved that she hit him before and pretty much said she'll do it again. She has no proof. And as far as I'm aware of, that he hit her, but because she's the woman and claimed abuse, it must be true. And she ain't not referring to the Believe Woman movement that we've been saying all of a sudden. No, I'm not going to believe you just because you're a woman. Not going to happen. Not happening. Because people can lie. Women can lie. Men can lie. And lies can be very much destructive as much as the truth. By the way, there's at 8:41, 13 replies. I can't disagree with this one. This is from Snowflake Moonflower. Fake media. This doesn't fit their agenda anymore, so move on. He's right. I can't even argue that. They're not going to make any... And I guarantee you, like the Jussie Smollett situation, which made me sick to my stomach that he lied about something like that, hardly any media covered it. One, they was embarrassed. And I mean progressive, so-called liberal media. They were embarrassed by him. They're not going to cover it now. They made him look bad. Oh, we're not going to cover it. Move on. They're going to cover the fact is that there was a attorney who basically got him off the hook because he pretty much had connection to Obama. And that corruption may be arise. And that right now, as we speak, if in case you don't know, she's actually on the defensive right now because of her office. We have Let's Play, I believe. We don't know. Yes, we do. In her own words, from her own mouth, there's not mutual. Stop giving her a benefit of a doubt by saying that it was behind closed doors. That was abuse. That was abuse happening. People, and in the case it happened to him, and in this case it happened to him, at her hands. Stop making excuses for her. 439 up. Again, these are all women. Keep that in mind. A good portion of these comments are women. Says here, you don't know, but, and this was from Home Sentimental. You don't know, but you were all quick enough to judge him on her say-so. Again, this is all from that Believe Women movement. Doesn't look good now, doesn't it? And by the way, again, all these people who are criticizing and basking this channel, which you can actually go catch it yourself, all women, and rightfully so. Lewis Cutfield, she gave away $7 million to his kids' money to cause that didn't even believe in, of course she doesn't even believe in. Don't know about that, but I think it's hypocritical. I don't know if she believes in the cause. I'm going to be very clear about that. I don't know, but it is hypocritical that she would try and paint herself something that she's not. It's hypocritical and disgusting, to be honest with you. Okay, this one is from On Flight 1997. It says 1 minute 45 seconds. OTF is that face lady. She doesn't have any history of being violent. 2 minutes 12 seconds taken out of context. More like putting context behind it. It was an hour recording where the claims made by her are consistent all throughout the dialogue. She mentioned punching him and threw objects at him. She agreed with him only having thrown something at her in retaliation once, and it didn't even hit her, where it was just directed at her. And the most blunt sign, as she said countlessly times. Read more of this. During the physical fight, he split and leave the fight. If he was the abuser, why would he leave the fight? Wouldn't it be her the one finding a way out of it also? Let's move on. Fuck that. I'm gonna excuse my language, but I gotta call it like it is. This guy lost his career for the past 4 years. She made a huge movie and is on the verge of making a sequel. Also, she is an an ambassador for women's rights and a con artist. She is an embarrassment, for women's rights and a con artist that lied, the past 5 years and ruined a man's career and reputation. Think about it. If there was a justice in the world, let's not move on. Let's find an answer. And why fight for equality when you're perpetuating inequality as soon as things take a different turn? This guy had the worst 5 years of his life due to lies. As soon as the truth comes out, everybody wants to move on because it is their life and they should solve it privately. Fuck that noise. Again, my apologies for my language. I don't normally like cursing in these videos, but I gotta call it like it is. Expose whatever has to be exposed and protect the voice of truth at all costs. Now, I actually like this one for a lot of reasons. For one, it pretty much paints out a lot of things that many people have been brought up. And that is that she had made herself an ambassador for women's rights in terms of abuse and so on and so on. And yet that audio shows a different story. Now, like I said earlier, Johnny Depp's career was on a standstill. I don't remember the last Johnny Depp film I've seen, other than the Pirates film. I did see the Grindelwald movie with the Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindelwald, which was not a good movie, to be honest with you, but he was fine in it, and I thought that it was not a problem. I actually thought he was actually a surprisingly welcome, considering all the problems that film has, and I actually hope that he will be in the sequel. I really do. I want to see how far he will take it, because I felt that there was not enough of him in that film. I have my other problems with the movie and everything else, but yeah, 3 to 5 years, you didn't see much about Johnny Depp. He lost his job that he helped create into a juggernaut. Let's be realistic. Pirates of the Caribbean is a financial juggernaut. It's one of Disney's best findings. I also believe it was a mixture of bad films and low performances. But the fact of the matter is that whole divorce, out of all of the bad divorces in Hollywood that actually really affected the career, he got affected by it. And he's in the right if he feels that that if his career was ruined because of this, yeah, he has the right to sue. Especially when he felt that, hey, I've settled and everything is over. Let's move on. I'm gonna keep quiet. But no, he's lost. He has lost his career. He may not have a major role again because of this. This may paralyze him. And there was a lot of people who was dead set on ruining this man's career. It didn't matter if they know the truth or not. Didn't matter if it was a one-sided story and that we didn't get the information. It didn't matter. They ruined this guy's career. And for this media saying, "No, let's just move on," everything else. No, they're not gonna move on. And I think this voice here that you're seeing on this comment section is showing that. And you know what? I don't want them to move on. If you guys are real news reporters that you guys claim you are, then you should get to the bottom of this. You should question the person who claimed that she was being physically abused, and remind her that, hey, physical abuse goes both ways. I have to agree. Yeah, I don't. At this point on, I said, look, let's get to the bottom of this. Let's get to the bottom of this. If anything else, we owe it to Johnny Depp to find out the real truth. It may reveal some stuff that we may not be ready for. But now that this whole thing has become up, I think it's only fair that we get to the bottom of this. You guys are news reporters. You guys are analysts. Get to the bottom of it. Don't just say one thing, you guys trashing Johnny Depp all over the place, and the next thing you know, when it finds out that this came out, oh, we don't know, we could have been taken out of context, blah, 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 blah. I don't want to hear that nonsense. Nobody wants to hear that nonsense. Everybody who I'm talking to is not defending E.T. Canada or any of the media outlets at all. You think those who gave 2,800 thumbs down want to hear that we should not move on from this? We should not take it out of context? No. The man's career got ruined because of this. From the news coverage that you and a lot of social media knuckleheads out there was doing. And I say knuckleheads for a reason. I'm not going to be shy of saying it. You can thumb me down if you want. Because I'm going to call like it is. We have a bad habit of following people instead of actually thinking, wait a minute, this doesn't sound right. Maybe we should look further and making sure that if this is actual factual or not. No. Johnny Depp is this, Johnny Depp is that. We don't have no proof, but you know what? I'm hearing it from one person. The woman said it. Believe women. That's it. It's ridiculous. And yeah, I want to see, because anything it will bring some real closure and actually bring the facts forward. I can go on and on. I'm looking at all of these right now. I'm strolling down here like there's no tomorrow. There is not one person sticking up for this woman. The majority of the comments are coming from women. Most of the women is calling her out for this, and rightfully so. And I'm actually glad they're calling her out for this, because she needs to be called out for this. Now again, I don't want this leading to a cancel Amber Heard movement. I don't want to cancel. I don't want anybody canceled. But the truth needs to come forward here. She needs to explain herself here. I don't want to hear from her lawyers. Her lawyer's going to give every terminology and everything in the book to make it seem like it's not that big of a deal, and try to throw it back on the other person. I don't want to hear from him. I want to hear from the woman whose voice I heard on that audio tape. She was so quick to make oh, woe is me move. Now let her answer for her own words. I don't want to hear from our lawyers. I want to hear from her now. I think every person has a right to ask, explain yourself, lady. And let her know that, hey, just because you're a woman doesn't give you the right to swing at someone. Doesn't give you the right to put your hands on someone. I read one last one here. It says, so when Amber made a claim without any evidence, you'll believe her and reported the story as if it was facts. But when there were actual evidence on Amber admitting that she hit him multiple times and can't promise she won't do it again, also admitting she threw an object like pans towards him, now is that, and let me just read more, is actually out of context. And in the recording of an hour, and they discussed it and discussed their issues. You're not gonna get no wins. Any media who tries to throw this like, oh, we don't know, are a fool, and I can't take you seriously, and I will never take you seriously, because it just shows proof that you're following trends, that you're not really reporting the news the way it's supposed to be reported, and you're just basically doing this to boost your own ratings. And I'm getting sick and tired of these media outlets doing this. I'm getting sick and tired of these media outlets not doing their proper due job. Mind you, they're not the only one that covered it. You know who actually covered it pretty much good, and they're not even made media. I can't believe I'm saying this. Double toasted. They do this for laughs. They're comedian, but at least they know something's not right, and you know what, you can't do it. When they're doing your job better than what most of these professional media outlets are doing, you got a problem. I don't expect Double Toasted to go further than that. They're entertainment. They're comedic comedy. But when they cover your stories better than what you have covered, that's a freaking problem. And I'm getting tired of getting my news from places I should not be getting my news from. Everybody here, and I'm going to say this right now, I'm getting sick and tired of these memes. I'm getting, not memes, these hashtags. I'm getting sick and tired of these groups coming out of the woodwork saying that they're for equality when they're not. They're not. I'm getting sick and tired of these SAWs coming over here and saying that they're for equal opportunities and all this other nonsense, when most of them are just jealous that the other person's doing well and they're not, and they want to just get rid of the picture. Or want to basically, lambasket a person. Lambasket a person. Put down a person. Because I don't believe, or they don't believe what you believe. And if you don't, and I don't believe what you believe, I must be a bad person, because you're not believing what I believe that's supposed to be right. You're sexist, you're racist, you're this, you're that. Please, shove it. You're not God. You're not the Messiah. You're not nothing. You're just an average person, just like me, who likes what they likes. I'm getting tired of it. I'm getting tired of the political pushing here and these political movements that does nothing but cause more harm than good. It may have turned out to be fine. Like I said, the Me Too movement, I had no problem with them. If stuff happened and the person was proven to be guilty of doing it, then they probably go to jail. There's no problem with that. My problem is they're using it as a weapon on people who may or may not have done anything without any kind of proof whatsoever. Not a single proof. And then we just disappear into the sunset when things don't turn out what we thought it would. How many of these many people who call Johnny Depp abuser and this and that, a white beater, and all this other nonsense they was talking about, how many of them are going to come forward and say, Johnny, we apologize, we're sorry, we should have gotten the facts first, we apologize for what has happened? No, they're not. They're going to stay silent. They're going to move on. How many times are we going to keep following people and believing in a person who, let's be honest, who are shady in their own right, because what they say, because number one, they felt they was abused and everything else, and instead of asking how come you didn't go to the cops and everything else, how many times are we going to keep following them and basically lambasting everybody else in the woodwork for them, not getting the whole facts of the story? When are we going to stop trying to play God with people's lives when it comes to this? It's not going to be over. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a hot topic for a while. Like I said, I haven't touched on the other networks yet. This is the one I felt the need to talk on because it's out there, guys. I mean, I'm keep going down the stream. And to me, not one person has said anything positive about that news coverage, because there's nothing to be positive to be said. There's nothing to be positive about it. When it comes to the situation, when it comes to covering news, it's not about actually covering news. It's about, what's hot, what's trending, what will make the ratings now, and whether it's true or not doesn't matter. It's just milking for what we got, instead of actually doing the actual thing that reporters, investigative reporters especially, should do: investigate, analyze, and ask yourself, how true is this story really? How true is the actual story that we're covering? I don't want to hear about being swept on the rug at this point. I don't want to hear about, we don't know. I don't want to hear that nonsense. I don't want to hear about let's move on. Because of the media and because of people who really was bandwagon jumpers to begin with, had followed something and it ruined this man's reputation. And if I were him, I would continue with the defamation lawsuit. I know she's trying to get it dismissed. It didn't get dismissed. And now with that being out, Amber Heard got a lot of explaining to do. Will she have the courage to do it? I don't think so. I think she's going to hire her lawyers, let her lawyers do the talking. But to me, until I hear from her mouth explaining this audio, which is really nothing to explain, she basically admitted what she did, then I'll call it like it is. She's a con and a liar. Is she lying about the whole thing about her being abused herself? I don't know. But I do know one thing. I know what I heard in that audio, and basically it doesn't sound good. What's your opinion, guys? I spent an hour on this one topic. That's a rarity for me. But I just was mad. I really was angry. I really was angry. And here's the thing. It's not that I was angry at the fact that this story broke out. It doesn't shock me that it broke out. What pissed me off, honestly, is the fact is that all of this nonsense could have been avoided if people would have just stopped and think, does this really hold weight? And yes, his family members, his ex said, no, that's not the man I know. I was married to the guy for such and such years. He was great to my daughters. He was great to me. It just didn't work out. His scheduling, he was always away. In terms of the emotional feeling, it just didn't work out. But that person they are claiming that he is, that's not him. No, I'm not going to buy into that. People want to believe what they want to believe without actually, digging into facts. People want to put this righteous move on everybody else when they're not even righteous themselves. No one is perfect. I'm not justifying the behavior of these two couples. Let's get that clear. I'm not. But I also know there's not a perfect marriage. I also know there's a lot more than what is being said behind the scenes. And I think people need to stop taking sides and stop, taking a side of a person because of their gender. I don't know who started that Believe Women movement, but it's the most stupidest thing I ever heard. And by the way, those who actually is actually going head on against Amber Heard are women. Why? Because she makes a lot of people, especially those who have actually suffered domestic violence, who are in safe houses as we speak, it makes them look bad. You put a stain on that. Domestic abuse is a serious thing that should not be taken lightly at all. But I think people need to also be educated. It's not just women that get abused. It's not. There are men that get abused too. There are men who have lived in silence and won't talk about it. And one of the reasons is because, oh, you're a man, you can take it. Just like she said on the thing, you can take it, you're a man. You're not a man? You can't take this little hit? You can't take this little shove? You can't take me throwing a bottle at you or whatever the hell you want to do? You're a man. They're afraid to be looked down upon. They believe they're cowards if they do. It's ridiculous. And this is pretty much proof. Here's the thing. Again, and I have to agree. If this was Johnny Depp's voice hearing, they would have been analyzing this till the cows come home. They'd be further damning this man. But now as Amber is, where we don't know what's going on. We don't know. You do know. She lied. Or in this case, let me correct myself. She wasn't truthful to the whole story. She didn't tell the full story, just her side of the story. I'd like to hear your opinion on this, guys. I'd like to hear what you guys have to say. I'll leave it at that. Until next time, and there will be a next time, J77 saying take care, be safe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.